G'day, everybody. I've been noticing some things that are taking place um, around myself in the energy and also with other people. And I know that we have discussed the astral a few times, but I think maybe people don't understand how much influence the astral has on people. Um, So in one of the videos we did in the 2026 series, I think it was part one, we would have talked a little bit about, you know, three-dimensional space, and then above that or near that or around that is the astral. And then around that is like spirit realm. So as you're moving outwards or inwards, depending on which way you're coming from, will depend on what you sort of call that. But there's a lot of things that can be in the astral, and the astral has a lot of influence on people. But the thing is with the astral is that if you think about a camera or a video camera records everything that's going on around you. Now, quite often, when I say to people, "Hey, what did you have for lunch yesterday?" They'll go, "Oh," they'll think about it, and then they'll say, "Oh, I see myself eating lunch at 12 o'clock, and I was eating this." And I say, "But you weren't observing yourself, were you?" They go, "No." And I said, "Well, that information is all stored in the astral. That's the first thing. It's also stored in your consciousness, which is your higher self. Your higher self is observing you continually and what you're doing, and it's so not only is the higher self observing you, but everything that you do, even making this video feed or what you're doing right now, is embedded into the astral and stays in the astral.
We should give people an example of what you're talking about.
All right, do you want to do that?
Yeah. So just think back to this time yesterday. What were you doing?
Who knows?
Can you see yourself?
Yeah.
How did you see yourself? Did you, if you were sat down writing at a desk, did you see your hand writing on the paper, or did you actually see maybe your whole self sat down on the chair at the desk? See?
Yeah. No, that's a good example. And so why are we talking about this? Well, we all know what's going on the planet, and it's just pretty much looks like it's a bit out of control. And the thing is that a lot of the posts that are on social media and a lot of the energy associated with what's going on, whether it's the cost of living or the price of fuel or whatever, everything has an energy to it, and that energy is attaching itself into and bleeding into the astral because it's being recorded in the astral. And so what's taking place is the astral itself is starting to become much stronger because of the level of energy that's associated with it. So we need to be aware that sometimes you may find that suddenly you develop sleep paralysis. It's where you wake up, but you can't move, or you think you're awake and you can't move, but you're still asleep. So it's then what takes place around you is what's embedded in the astral. Now, if it's the real-time astral space, which is like right now, there's this is what's going on, then that's okay. But if the state that you're in is reliant along somewhere on the timeline, I'll give you an example. You wake up and you hear people talking, and you look outside and you see people talking, but they were talking 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Out there.
Or the room that you wake up in or wherever is the room. It is your space, but it looks like it would have done 50 years earlier.
Yeah. And so with those sorts of influences that could take place, especially with the astral, we need to just be aware that when we go to sleep at night and we drop down into sleep, and then our consciousness, I guess you could say, or our etheric body lifts up a little bit and vibrates at its own space. so that the body can go through all of its sleep cycles. What happens is, be aware that you may not be waking up feeling too refreshed. Yeah. You may be waking up and feeling like you've been, sort of run a marathon and you didn't get any sleep at all. And so with what's going on, it's, I have said this in plenty of other videos, make sure that you step away from what's going on, find your own space, ground out, clear your energy, look after yourself, and make sure that you put yourself first in regards to your own energy, and that you do an energetic cleanse. And maybe you do that, when you're meditating. One of the easiest ways to do that is just to imagine like a screen door that's coming towards you, and as it goes through you, it takes off all the energy that you didn't want to have with you anyway. So that's probably one of the good ways to do it. The other way is, of course, you can use the Reiki methods, where you start to breathe in different colors. So if you want to ground yourself, you start seeing that you're breathing in red, and you breathe it all the way down to your root chakra, and then you breathe it out again. You can go through the colors of the chakra system, and ground yourself that way. But of course, don't start breathing into your third eye with light or your crown chakra, because all you're going to do is become ungrounded.
Yeah.
Right. So that's really important. And you know what? You've got to use common sense with this stuff as well. If you feel that a lot of the things that you might be doing are ungrounding, then you need to not do meditation. Okay. It might be that to be grounded means you need to go out for a walk in nature.
Yeah, go sit under a tree.
Go down the ocean.
Trees have incredible energy. Very clearing, very grounding. Now,
the thing about the astral is it has no agenda. It's like blaming your video recorder for how lousy the footage is. It actually has no agenda at all. But what does have an agenda is what's in the astral. Now, that sounds a little bit, what's he talking about? If you look up what a servitor is or an egregore, these are energies. They affect the fabric of the astral. Now, Syann and I have experienced this multiple times. One time that really sticks out was when we went to that person's house, and we didn't know that they'd been arguing, and they left the house, and we were staying there for a while.
Not just like a one-off,
not one-off random. Yeah, it was like multiple arguments.
Really bad stuff.
And then we started to see this big shape and this form undulating in the room.
Yeah.
And it was basically, it was a servitor that was created just by consciousness, by two people, just by having that disagreement with each other.
Constant disagreement.
Constant disagreement. Yeah. So it's really important that you're mindful of your actions towards other people and their actions towards you, because you're joined in consciousness. So you don't want to create a third party energy or consciousness that's going to try to disrupt your relationship, by wanting to exist in the astral. So, as I said, the astral itself has no agenda, but some of the consciousness entities that are created are created by different people. Now, a lot of people actively go out to make servitors and believe that somehow they're going to be friends with them or something. We've heard that one before.
Yep.
And I would suggest that's probably not a very good idea at all. If you want a friend, go and buy a cat or a dog or something, because to create a servitor means that it actually needs an interaction, a continual interaction.
Yeah.
And that's actually not a good space to be in. I think there was a study done where a group of people sat around a table.
They did. They purposefully created.
Do you remember what that was called?
It was
creating George or something.
Not Eric.
Yeah, or creating something. And what they did was they, over a period of, what was it, weeks or months or something?
Months.
Yeah, what they did was they kept talking to the air, I guess, but ultimately they started to get feedback, didn't they?
They did.
Because they were able to create this entity.
Yeah.
And you would call that a consensus reality, wouldn't you?
You would.
Yeah, because that energetic environment
Yeah.
had agreement as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so they created the entity that way in the astral.
I wonder if that's how a lot of the entities are created in, commons and things like that.
Could be. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's always agreement to that sorts of things. And the other thing is, of course, when and this is probably completely just going off track here.
That happens.
It's been reported, and I'm not sure, like how true a lot of this stuff is, but an Australian reporter, Ross Coulthard, he's very much into UFO disclosure and information, is reporting that that he's been somewhere in some country and that they had a portal that was open, and it was guarded and all the rest of it. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, people have been opening portals for years, but this portal is probably technologically supported to stay open or closed or whatever. And to be honest, it's a little bit like Stranger Things, because when you open dimensional rifts into the astral, that means that the things from the astral come into the three-dimensional space, and we actually don't want that.
But maybe not with the snowflakes.
No, not because it had snowflakes
in the upside down.
In the upside down. I thought that was ash.
I don't know what it was.
I think it was ash.
Were we ever told what it was? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Whatever.
But anyway,
bits.
just be also so anyway with the portal stuff, that also destabilizes the astral. So the reason I'm talking about the astral today is because, one, fear feeds into the astral, feeds into your environment, and also feeds into your creational space. And your creational space is where you think about what is being created around you, or what you worry about, and that those thoughts start to build emphasis and energy in the astral. And so, of course, when I said before, try and get off social media, try and get away from all the negative stuff. It's because basically the planet at this point in time globally, most people are thinking about lots of pretty negative stuff, or they're seeing negative stuff as well. And it's more about sort of going, you know what, I'm not going to be part of this. I'm going to actually try and be a much more positive influence on what's going on. Okay.
I think also though with like kind of the fear-based stuff in mind, also realize and recognize with the astral that what you experience in the astral might not necessarily actually be happening to you at all. And we've said this many, many times before, remembering it's like a recording device, right? You could easily be experiencing somebody else's experiences within the astral. So, we've had people come to us claiming that all sorts of things are going on when they're asleep happening to them. And 9 times out of 10, it's because they're somehow open to other people's experiences within that space. And it's like they're reliving those experiences as if they were genuinely happening to them by like real beings. And trust me, it can really feel like that. It really can. I think somebody commented the other day, like when you're in the astral, does it feel solid? Can it feel solid? Yes, absolutely. It feels solid, just like it does here, but we're just in a different frequency. But those memories can feel just as real in that way as well, but they're not necessarily your experiences at all. So don't automatically jump to that conclusion.
Yeah. It was so interesting. We had someone around the other day, and I can pretty much see into the astral as well. And I was watching like this little sort of creature that was in the astral just walking across the floor. And the person looked down and said, I can see that. Well, I burst out laughing because
you see it all the time.
I see it all the time. And it reminded me of when I was watching Stargate, and they had a machine that was running, and the machine was enveloping everybody in the astral, and people were starting to see all of the different entities moving in and out of the
and they're
astral.
all trying to ignore them.
Yeah, they were trying to ignore them. It was so
daily
funny.
life.
Yeah, Stargate. Yeah, it's really interesting. All right. But anyway, look, great talking to you, and we'll see you again soon. Okay, bye.